Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Hello, old friend. Getting a little light. Might need to take a trip to the store. And if you're wondering, Tobes isn't that typically, set for either embarrassing ass kickings, which this was not, or it was a thorough loss, but it wasn't an embarrassing loss, or gut wrenching losses. Yes, it is, but this is more for fear because I hope Bam Adebayo's okay. Because if he's not okay, I'm not okay, dude. If Bam Adebayo's not okay, then we're all not okay. So thus, the Jack Daniels. That's why. Okay? That's why. Heat lose today. 122, 112. It was pretty, if you had I think it was 9.5 as the spread for those who partake in such things. Not a game I gambled on tonight, but I did remember what the spread was, and it was kind of ping ponging back there for between 10 and 8. So I'm sure some people were sweating it, and we're thankful the Heat were in the bonus to send the Nuggets to the line. But look, we'll get into the breakdown of the game here in just a second, but it is hard not to feel like the overshadowing thing of all of this is Bam Adebayo's health. He got hurt in the first quarter. He got crossed up with Jamal Murray, and it looked like a foot. It looked like kind of like I don't know if it was. It's hard to tell if it was if he stepped on it, if it was like non-contact. Um, because it kind of looked like he got crossed up with Jamal Murray going backwards, doing a little drop handoff to Norman Powell, and then it kind of looks like he just kind of tweaked it around Jamal Murray's foot. And he was immediately in pain. He was immediately in a lot of pain, and I think he played out a little bit, and then he was out. He was out for the game. And if you want to know how important Bam Adebayo was to any hope, okay? Because I don't think we can stress enough how much Nikola Jokić, the Joker, for those who are up on the lingo, how much this man owns the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat haven't won a regular season game in Denver in nearly 10 years. He, I think, is 16-5, I think, in the regular season. Eric Reed said this was his third straight triple-double in the regular season against Miami. That's not even including the gentleman's sweep, top hats and monocles in the NBA finals that you add on top of it. And this was Bam Adebayo was so critical to the Heat tonight that Eric Spoelstra used his coach's challenge today to make sure that the referees correctly put the foul on Andrew Wiggins as opposed to Bam Adebayo. That's how much Eric Spoelstra was keen on Bam picking up, keeping his big man on Joker whenever he could. And you lost him early on in this game, and we got word in the second quarter that he has a foot injury and he's questionable return, and you're just like, eeh. And man, Spo was trying some things. I mean, he had Ware out there, and like, I think out of a couple of things, like I think out of today's game, right? The bench unit, there's a few things that need to be pointed out. One, the Heat got absolutely demolished on the glass, especially on the offensive glass. Today, looking at rebounding, 61-38 in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Offensive rebounds, 21-5. Second chance points for the Nuggets went 22-8. Points in the paint, 62-42 in favor of the Denver Nuggets. The Heat took 86 shots today. The Nuggets took 101. So, I mean, they just got up a lot more than Miami did. They didn't have a great shooting game by any means. The free throws pretty even, but just those extra possessions that kept this alive. And He didn't have any size, and that absolute Serbian monstrosity, 33 points, 15 rebounds, 16 assists, 3 steals. He is just exquisite as a basketball player, but he honestly, Nick and Mickey Arison should cut him off a slice of the Miami Heat for how much he owns this franchise. It's ridiculous. Like the Dolphins are taking on Josh Allen this week, and you think like that's ownership. Try doing that on top of the fact that he also has a championship on your ass. That's ownership of a franchise. And not to mention he's got Aaron Gordon doing his dirty work with him, because Aaron Gordon's still taking personally that Dwayne Wade robbed him of a dunk contest. I mean, just absolutely puts his nuts on the Heat every single time he faces them. And these two guys were just monsters, and they had no size, no real resistance to face. And I guess that kind of leads us into the second thing, because for the Miami Heat, I would say Andrew Wiggins played the best game of the Miami Heat today out of the starters. I'm just getting a tweet right now. This is from the Heat's account. It says it's his left foot. Ugh, just absolutely. Heat. Here's what the Heat. The Heat just tweeted out, Coach Spo on Bam Adebayo's injury. We don't know right now. It's his left foot. We'll find out more tomorrow. All right. Hey, I'm going to have to open this up again. Okay. Okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Because who the hell do they have to replace what this guy's doing? I mean, this guy was off to an incredible start. He's the best defender on the planet. And mind you, like, Joker was already getting off to a good. It's already hard enough when you have Bam to try on Joker, you know? And like they put Kel'el out there. Malik Allen, the Heat's big man coach, off the bench. I don't know if he does this every time that Kel'el plays, but I don't think he does, because I don't notice it. This dude was jumping out of his seat like crazy to implore Kel'el Ware and try and get him in the right spots every which way and not get crushed on the glass. And there were times, like there were possessions you could point to, be like, all right, Kel'el, you kind of did the thing there, right, dude? But I mean, overall, just like anybody, it's like putting an inexperienced young big against the greatest player on earth. It was child's play for him. He played him like a fiddle. And so Ware, did what he could do today. It was all right. It wasn't like the most impressive game. He still is not. He's just not an impactful player inside the paint, and I don't know how they can get that, because the thing that's been interesting about him this year is not only the motor, because he did get better. The rebounding got better. He finishes with 13-13, but like he just fades out to the perimeter at all times, and he's really like trying to make himself more like a Miles Turner, Brooke Lopez than any inside presence. And his three-point shooting's been okay this year, but I think everybody looks at it kind of similar to Wembanyama. It's like, you're an extraterrestrial. We need you in the paint. We need you dunking on everybody's head, and we need those hands a little bit better. And so they got some stuff they gotta work on there. But he's probably about to get his shot, especially this weekend. Miami's coming home. The guy who was just so bad today, and I got to talk about it because you guys know I love him. And it's not the tone I typically like to take with this, but the person I got to talk about, is Jović, dude. Like, dude, Jović. I don't know what's going on, man. With Nico, here's the thing with Nico, man. Nico is an easy player to read. You know, he is a man. He wears his heart on his sleeve. You can tell Nico gets frustrated in pregame warmups when he's not cooking the way that he wants to go. And he was abysmal today. He was really, really bad. You could look at his stats and see it. He finished with 5 points. He was 1 of 6. That one shot was like a crazy end of the shot clock 3-ball that he really didn't have time to think about. 1 of 6, 1 of 4 from downtown, 3 rebounds. Ugh. 3 rebounds, 4 turnovers. He was really bad, and he's not been impressive. And I could take, look, I am not here to say anything other than I absolutely pumped this dude's tires all off season. Not but like, look, I really, really believe in this guy. I think that he is a talented player. I think he's got the right mindset and accountable mindset. I don't recognize the guy that's playing right now. This reminds me of the guy that was going back to Sioux Falls that needed the pep talk from Jimmy Butler. He just, and I don't know if that's because he lost the starting role immediately, and he was very adamant that he wanted the starting role. And so I don't know if that was a little blow to his confidence. I don't know if it's because Jaime's blossomed a little more, and so the opportunities haven't been there as much. But this isn't good enough. You know, this isn't good enough, Nico. And it's like, you got the security before the season. You know, you had the summer of Spo going to Serbia. And they need more. They need more. And I was upset today because I thought in this game, like, Spo had poor Andrew Wiggins out there guarding Aaron Gordon, and I'm like, man, you should be able to throw. And I'm not here's the thing. I'm not going to get pissed at Eric Spoelstra today when his young bigs aren't. They got their opportunities today, and they're not necessarily rewarding him when he's given minutes, and he's not necessarily. They're not putting him in a position where they're making him regret any lack of faith. So I can't get mad. Typically, this would be the part of the show where I'd be like, "Come on, Spo, you gotta let these guys play through it." No, Jaime's earned the minutes. Simone Fontecchio has earned the minutes. And when they've been out there, Nico, Kel'el, they've mostly not been good enough. But Nico particularly, Kel'el hasn't been good enough, and Nico's been worse than Kel'el. And I really think that an X factor for this season was going to be what those young guys can do. And I like how this season has gone. Overall, 4-4 with that tough road trip is okay. I said going in, like, I would have loved a 2-2 trip. Having to win in Denver's already a loss, so you got to go basically 2-3 in the first 2. You couldn't do it. And now you lost Bam. And they don't have any big depth. They had Keshad Johnson that they were playing today at the 5 at times, who even had a couple possessions where he kind of held his own. But another guy I was hoping a lot more from. I mean, he could not. I really think if you put nobody out on the court right now and you just said, "Hey, you got the ball," and he wasn't allowed to dunk, I don't know how many baskets he comes away with. I don't mean to be like, hard. It's just, it is what it is. That's what we've been watching right now. So, this youth movement from the Miami Heat, Yakachonis, by the way, was available tonight, but he did not play. Understandable. But I really hope, I saw after the game that Nico had a little bit of a loving talk with Joker. I hope that Jokić gives Nico a little bit of a, hey, what the hell's going on with you here, dude? Like, this is not the Brate that I had in Serbia. Like, what's going on here? I mean, he's been in his head letting go of the ball. That's easy to see with him. He's a very, he's not he's not a stoic player. Like Kel'el's a little bit like stoic. Like can't really see if he's high up and down. He kind of keeps that same poker face. Nico does not. And he's so far and away been, to me, the most underwhelming player so far of guys I had expectations for. And I think everybody knows, like, I love the guy. I want him to do well. He's a delight to cover. He, I think, has the right mindset usually. I think he works hard, and they need him. And especially if Bam's not going to be there, dude. I mean, if they don't have Bam Adebayo for any stretch, I don't know what this team's going to do. Like, obviously not every team is Denver. They got Portland and they got Charlotte this week. All right, survivable. But then they got Cleveland coming in next week for a couple. They got New York coming up. I mean, it can be tough sledding for Miami. And I knew it was gonna be a tough start to the season as it was. You knew already without having Tyler, but now you didn't have Bam. You don't have Bam. It's about the most indispensable player the Heat have. And that on top of his backups aren't really playing up to snuff right now. And so this is their moment. If he's going to be out for multiple games, let's just start with multiple games. Hope that it's not worse. But yeah, if they don't have Bam Adebayo, dude, I don't know. I don't know. Tyler Hero is one thing. Bam Adebayo is a whole nother thing because they got guys who can handle. They got guys who can score a little bit. You could put together and piece together the points from Tyler. Bam, man, I don't know. Tough, man. Tough stretch. Really, really tough. And the rebounding was just atrocious tonight. So bad. Man, I am depressed, Heat Nation. I am depressed. Need more from Jović. Need Ware to grow up fast. And it was great, like it was a little bit like Denver was kind of toying at the end. So like I don't know how much to read into the Heat hung around because it kind of felt like Denver was really. I mean, that's Tim Hardaway Jr. Jesus, have you ever seen a guy hold a gripe more that the Heat never gave him a look? He's like, hey, my father was a legend for you guys. How about I drop 4 threes on you every single time I face you at the very least? Just kills the Heat every single time he faces them. Rough, dude. Nice night for Jaime, I guess. Just looking at his numbers. Whatever. Even like, look, the Heat overall 4-4 right now, 1-3 trip is nothing to write home about. Obviously, the majority of the games, I think it's 6 out of 7 are at home right now, coming up for Miami. Let's have a little looky-loo at this. Charlotte on Friday. Portland on Saturday. Call those the 2 scoundrel organizations. And then Cavs for a couple, Knicks for a couple, and then Golden State. So I think that's 6 out of 7. 6 out of the next 7 are in Miami. All very high stakes. A lot of good teams. Oh, hold on. Heat giving us another quote here. Shout out to the Heat admin giving us the quotes here. Bam Adebayo on his left foot. I felt a pain in my foot. I took it upon myself to check myself out to go see what happened. We'll figure it out. We got more tests tomorrow and see how it goes. Sheesh. Well, that's great. I am sad.